Hi everyone, let's talk about how to use watercolor paint in a tube. We'll discuss everything that you need to know, especially if you're just getting started in watercolor painting. When you get started, you will need a place to squeeze out your paint and to store it. You can use an inexpensive palette such as this. It has wells in it, which keeps the colors separate, and then the center works really well for mixing the paint together. This one also happens to have a lid, which is a nice feature. You can get a palette box such as this. They come in many different styles and price ranges. Just make sure to get one that has a large enough mixing area for what you will need. I like this one in particular because when I close it, it seals, so I don't have to worry about any leaks if I'm carrying the box around. You could also use a dinner plate such as this. White works best so you can see the colors really well. And you would just squeeze the colors around on the outside of the plate and then use the middle for mixing. Once you've used a plate for paint, make sure you don't use it for food again. To use the tubes of watercolor paint, just squeeze a little bit of the paint out onto the palette. The first time you use the paint, it will be nice and soft. Carefully mix a small amount of the paint with water and then paint as you normally would. So leave most of the blob of paint untouched and just pull out the small amount that you need. Painting in just the little top part of a cloud, just to give you an example. Going in with the black here, again just grabbing a little bit of paint off of that soft blob of paint on the edge, and then paint as normal. And so you can mix the colors together this way as well in the same manner. So I can mix that blue with the black for a gray blue color. And so after you've used your paint, go ahead and let it dry. You can even leave the mixed paint that you have in the middle of the palette there and then reuse it later just by adding water to it. The next time you use your paints, they will be dry. So I'm going to switch this palette out with the wet paints on it and bring in the other palette, which has all dry paints. Start out by adding a few drops of water to each color you will use. And that will start to soften them up and get them ready to just use right away. And so I can go ahead and just grab that color, pull it into the middle of the palette, and mix my colors as I want to. And remember, you can add more water to your paint for a lighter color or add more pigment to it for a darker, brighter color. And just adding a little bit of kind of reddish yellow to the bottom of my cloud. Just like that. After your paint dries, if your palette does not have a lid, I recommend that you store it in a bag or a drawer so it doesn't get dusty. You can buy beginner sets of watercolor tubes that have about 10 to 12 different colors. That should be enough variety to get started. The brand doesn't matter as much, especially when you're just starting out. The ones that I happen to be using are Winsor and Newton brand. Tubes will give you better quality colors and they last a long time. Another benefit is that you can just replace one color at a time if you run out. That's basically everything that there is to using watercolor paints in a tube. Don't let them intimidate you. They're actually very simple and easy to use. Happy painting, and thanks for watching.